Okay, so this next bit is all going to be on full sweep, like entering the position and then how to finish or get to saddle in different positions after the full sweep. So my partner's going to have managed to step to the inside, so cross hamstring or knee cut, and he's going to be driving this knee to the floor, and he's going to have his hand on my hip. So I want to prevent the underhook, and I want to prevent the knee coming to the floor. So I'm just going to post both hands on my partner's shoulder, and I'm going to look to pummel this foot over the top. So when I pummel this foot, I don't want to put it straight between his legs, right? Because then he can push his foot down and start to circle to the other direction. Yeah, which is no good. So as I throw the leg over, I just want to stomp it on his thigh, so it makes it more difficult for him to push the foot down with his free hand, okay? And it also stops him from circling this leg around. If he manages to circle the leg all the way around, you see how this knee can come out from between my two knees. So if I'm here, right, he can circle this knee around and the knee comes out, and I won't be able to grab it with my hands. Okay, so I need to make sure that the knee stays between my two knees. So when I step here, it's harder for him to step around that corner and cut that angle. So when I shoot this left hand through, okay, it's harder for him to turn this knee out in that direction and free to grip. So once I step this foot on the thigh, I look to get my left hand between his leg. Okay, I don't need to worry about this hand actually. I'd rather it be trapped on the inside. And then my second hand is going to shelf the knee. I'm going to tuck my elbow tap to my hip, and I'm just going to hold like the wrist bit of my forearm here. Okay, so like the veiny bit up towards the ceiling. Once I have this grip now, I can put this foot to the inside because it's going to be very difficult for my partner to open that knee out, okay, and counter with like berimbolas and stuff like that. So if you have your hands connected, it's basically going to be very difficult to be countered here, and you can be pretty sure that you'll get some sort of entry in your partner's legs. So from here, I'm going to extend this leg, okay. Now my second foot, I'm going to post it on the floor. I'm going to put my shoulders down to the floor, and I'm going to start to use this toe to shrimp out. And not only do I shrimp out, but I also turn my hips up to the floor so I can clear this leg. So even if my partner really tries to keep his hook in, so go for it, try with your right leg. Okay, I can just keep shrimping till it comes free, okay? The more flexible you are in this position, the more helpful it's going to be. But also, if you just want to make it easy for yourself, you can use more strength in your arms to take away some of the pressure on your leg here. So I start to shrimp out, I clear the leg. Once I clear the leg, I want to swing my right knee back behind his legs, okay? And triangle, and then you land in the full sweep position. Notice when I'm doing this as well, my knee always stays as far to the outside as possible. Like, I don't want to start doing this. See how my knees come to the inside? Now it's going to be much easier for my partner to just basically sprawl and kick their legs back. Go for it, just sprawl. Yeah, exactly, and I'm getting crushed. Here I keep my knee just about to the outside. It's going to be very hard for my partner to sprawl because my knee is pointing at his ribs, so he can't like close the distance with his chest. Cool. Again, partner steps to cross hamstring. I frame. Okay, if I can't just like bring my leg over the top, you see, like I'm pretty flexible, I can't get my leg over the top. Just like, again, just bump your partner a couple times, just enough that you can get your leg over the top, okay? You know, like, again, just about being lazy and saving energy. You don't want to do like massive pushes, do just enough to get your leg over the top, okay? And if you push in little bursts, it's much harder for your partner to like pressure in accordingly, so it'll be easier, you basically use less energy. So as soon as I swing this leg over the top, my toes here that are on his hamstring are going to come out as my hand comes through. Okay, so I want my partner to be pressuring forward ideally, okay, and taking this toe out encourages it. Once I shoot this hand through, okay, my foot is just ready on his far thigh in case he's trying to step around. I bring my elbow to my hip, and then I control my wrist like this. I want to keep my elbow under my partner's shin, okay, so when we land in saddle, later on you have easier access to the heel. Once I connect my hands, now I tuck the leg to the inside, and I can extend this leg. So I'm bringing my partner's weight up in that direction. From here, my toes go to the floor, start to turn belly down, scoop myself out, and then drive my knee back to the inside. Okay, and then from here, depends what my partner's doing, right? If he's stood up, then I can take him backwards. Okay, if he's leaning forwards, I take him forwards. But we'll get to that in a second. Also, one more time. Yeah, let's get this angle. So, partner steps to the inside, frame. Okay, I keep bumping so I can get my leg over the top. Okay, as soon as my leg comes over the top, I'm stepping it on the far thigh, and I shoot this hand through the gap between my legs. Okay, even if this leg is a bit further away, okay, yeah, as long as I can just about get my wrist around it, okay, so I want my whole hand through, okay, try not to just get your knuckles and stuff trapped under here, my whole wrist through, I can connect to my other wrist and pull the knee through, okay, hook behind my partner's second leg, and then I start to use my toes here on the floor to lift my hips, start to scoot away to clear the grip, and then drive my knee back through, okay, to land in this sort of saddle position. Okay, and if I want to triangle my legs here, I'm going to use my right foot here, kick behind my partner's leg, tuck my toes behind my leg here and then hook. And then I'm in a good position to either hold the saddle if he starts to run, okay, or I can use my toes here to force a roll. Okay, so last one, let's go facing this way. So step to the outside, right. Alright, so this next one, my partner's basically going to try and block me from shrimping my bottom leg out by using his second leg. Okay, so we start in the same position again. My partner steps to the inside. I do my annoying bumping to get my foot over the top. Okay, see, my partner can take his hand out. It doesn't really make too much of a difference for me. Okay, as these toes come out, there's space for my arm to shoot through. Okay, and I'm going to connect to my wrist again. I try to hook behind my partner's leg. If I can't hook here behind my partner's leg, let's say he's turning away from me in that direction, I can use my right leg here to bring his leg in range, and then I hook behind it. Okay, so just if you're struggling to get your toes like properly on the inside of your partner's leg here, your second leg can be used to hook to the inside. Okay, so from here, when I start to try to shrimp out, my partner's going to use his second leg to hook behind my leg. So I'm really trying to shrimp, it's not going anywhere, right? And I can't clear this foot with my free leg. So what I'm going to do is use my right hand, okay, and I'm going to collect his leg. So just be aware, when your hands aren't connected, your partner's much more able to sprawl their back leg. Okay, so your transition from controlling your one hand to controlling the far knee needs to be quick. Okay, another danger, right, is the DARS. So if my partner's looking to DARS me, as long as I have my hands connected, I'll be able to have the leverage to push his chest away when I need to. Okay, if my hands are disconnected and I try to go for this and my partner DARSes at the same time, okay, this could be an issue. So you need to make sure when you're doing this that you're basically let go of your hand and with your hand and quickly going towards the second leg. So I let go, I go towards the second leg and I connect it. And now I can S-grip my hands, okay? The grip doesn't really matter from this position, okay? If you've got really long arms, you can palm to palm grip. But here I'm looking for an S-grip on my partner's legs. So now if he really tries to keep his toes to the inside, go on, stand up and put your weight into your legs. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult, okay? Even like just because I have both his legs controlled, he's got no real balance. So I can start to use my left leg here to put my partner's butt to the floor. Okay, and now if he tries to keep my legs hooked with his leg, okay, I can just again scoot out, clear the leg, and then drop my knee back in, and we're back in top position. Okay, I can control the second leg, or you can start looking straight away to try and attack the heel hook there. Okay, so one more time. My partner steps inside. Okay, I frame. So make sure you get the toes in there when you frame, so you can kick with your leg and the hands at the same time. Swing my leg over the top, shoot my hand through. Okay, I connect to my wrist, and now my partner's hooking behind my second leg. Okay, so as I try and shrimp, it becomes difficult. So I can start to shrimp, right? But he's just following me, so there's no point continuing. Once you feel like his foot is tucked behind your knee, that's when I look for the second leg, and I look to control it. See here, I can catch my wrist because I've basically taken more time, got a deeper grip. Sometimes you just need to connect whatever grip you can get. Okay, I'm gonna start tipping my partner's butt to the floor, and it makes it much harder for him to weight his legs, right? So it's easier if he tries to really hook my leg and keep it there. Okay, I might have to shrimp out really far, but I'm going to get there eventually, right? Clear the legs, then I jump my knee back over, and I can land in this position, step foot to foot. Okay, make sure each time you go for saddle that you're not just going straight for the heel, right? Because it's much more likely that your partner just starts to escape. So I would control the second leg, okay, control the knee, and then dip my elbow between the two legs to finish. Okay, so one more time. Maybe let's go this way. So partner steps inside, frame on the shoulders, I'm bumping, just about to swing my leg over the top. Take my bottom foot out as my bottom hand comes through and I control my wrist. I hook behind the leg, okay? Now I'm going to reach for the second knee and collect it. And now I can see I'm crawling my hand over his calf here. That's fine, you can do that just to get your grip. And once you've got your grip, right, anything that your partner tries to do with regards to your head that's unprotected, you can just use your knee here to keep his chest away. So you should be all right. I'm going to tip him down to the floor. Start to scoot my leg away, keep scooting, keep scooting, keep scooting. Okay, so that's why I need some flexibility there. Then I jump my knee over the top. I can either go to top position, okay, or I can just roll backwards to this position and then control the second leg, hold the knee, okay, and then tuck my elbow between the two legs to finish. Okay, so I'm gonna start the move same as before, okay, and we get to our full sweep position. Close, put my leg through, start swinging my leg out. Okay, and I get to this position and my partner bases with really wide knees, so, and his posture is up. So it's difficult for me now to like roll him forward. You know, I can't really roll in this direction to take my partner forward. okay, I can't really just tip him backwards with my knees alone because his knee is wide there. So with my elbow still underneath his shin, I'm gonna pull his foot to the inside with my foot here. So you see how my foot is hooking his calf? I just pull his shin towards me, okay? From this position, I'm gonna wide flare both my knees. So you see how my hip lifts off the floor and it's taking weight basically off of me. So I can reach the second knee. And then from here, I'm gonna pull the second knee towards me to collect it. And now, same as before, I'm just tipping my partner down to the floor, controlling like his hamstring here and the second hand on the Achilles. Just pull it in tight, rep, and then dip your elbow between the two legs again. Okay. So especially for guys with like good hip mobility and really good base at the same time, like this is pretty useful. So shoot your leg through. Okay, if I can't reach that leg, see here, my toes aren't really reaching properly. I can use my second leg to bring that leg in range and then hook here. Okay, now my partner's got really wide knees, so I start to do my move, shoot my knee all the way through, and then we land in this position. Okay, I'm struggling to take my partner in the direction, so I'm gonna lift my hips off the floor. Okay, so see, I use my toes here on the floor to lift my hips up, and I'm gonna catch just on the bottom of the shin. Okay, now I can take this second hand out, right, now that I've got both his legs controlled, and I'm gonna switch to his knee. If I'm struggling to reach the knee and it's still too wide, I can push on the shoulder, okay, and then it gives me space to pull my knee past his knee. Okay, take my partner down, and then we sit back to saddle, wrap the leg, foot to foot, and then I just dip my elbow between my partner's two legs. Okay, so one more time. We're here, push, okay, step on the far thigh. If I can't reach this leg, I can use my second leg. See, just that motion is enough to get a good solid hook with my left leg, so I can start to clear the leg that I want. I jump and clear past it, and we land in this position, okay? I'm struggling to just push my partner back, right? I don't really have enough. So I'm gonna lift, okay, and pull that bottom shin in closer towards me, okay? Once I have the bottom of the shin there, should be pretty easy now to reach the second knee, okay? Even if you can't reach it like convincingly, you can just push and then reach it, right? And once you have both knees controlled, there's no way your partner's gonna stop the sweep, okay? And you can just push them over using your knee there, like flaring against their chest. Take them down, same thing as before. Straight foot lock and dip your elbow between the two legs. If you feel like your foot here is trapped and you don't like it where it is, you can just tip yourself to this side. Now I free the foot much easier, okay, and step up on my thigh and pitch like this, okay? Full sweep, opponent stays on their feet. Okay, so this next one is a bit more simple than the last. Basically, my opponent's just gonna stand there in the same posture that he was in originally, so he's not leaning forwards or backwards, and he doesn't have necessarily a wide base forwards or backwards, so it's easy to tip my partner backwards. So same as before, partner steps in, okay, I post on the shoulders, keep my leg over the top, step on the far thigh, and then control my wrist. Hook my foot to the inside, okay, so here, partner postures up a little bit, and he's just like, exactly, yeah, just doing like a normal knee cut. So I take my leg out, drive it back in, and see here, he's still on his toes. I just flare and take my partner backwards, okay? Then this is a good position where I would probably go straight for the heel, okay? Because my partner's flat on his back, it's gonna be much harder for him to hide his heel whilst I'm set up, okay? I've got my shoulders and my head tucked to the inside of his knee, okay? It's gonna be very hard for him to turn his knee in that direction before I manage to get a good dig on the heel. So as my partner's sitting up and turning, I'm gonna be bringing my elbow right next to the toes, okay? From here, I wanna lift my hips off the floor and point my knees to my left-hand side. So let's turn a little bit. So I still have my feet crossed, okay? I need to be able to lift my hips off the floor and point my knees in the opposite direction. Then I can just use my hand to open the heel up, okay? So you don't necessarily have to have your hand underneath here to do it, okay? You could do it by holding over the top of the leg, but the idea always remains the same, okay? I'm gonna pull my elbow back on the big toe, pinch my knees together, lift my hips off the floor, and then point my knees in the opposite direction. As long as I can keep my partner's heel on the inside of his knee, okay, it's going to be easy for me to catch the heel. If my partner's able to turn his knee inside, okay, I'm basically never going to catch the heel. So I want to use my hand supported by my leg, okay, as well as my hips bridging to force that knee to the outside. Because my partner was flat on his back before, it's going to be hard for him to lift his hips off the floor, right? So if he can lift his hips off the floor here, he's going to be able to turn his knee in that direction. I'm going to lose it, okay? But because he was sat on his back when I was starting this move, okay, he starts to sit up. I'm already lifting and pointing my knees in the opposite direction. Now it's easy for me to pop my wrist under the heel. As soon as I pop my wrist under the heel, I'm going to lift it all the way to my nose, okay? And then once I let go with this hand, I'm going to go straight to catch my wrist here, okay? Turn my hand around, I'm going to pull everything tight to my nose, and then depending what butt cheek my partner is on, I'm either going to finish facing this direction, okay? Or if he's on his hip like that,
I'm going to face up like this, okay, and bridge to get a finish. If he continues turning this direction to hide his heel, okay, I'm going to flare my knees, try and avoid my shoulder touching the floor, okay, and I'm keeping the heel pulled up towards my nose. If he keeps turning here, he's going to break his own leg, right? So I'm just going to bridge very slowly, okay, to get a finish. So one more time. My partner steps to the inside, I frame, throw my leg over the top, shoot my hand through, hook, start to scoot out. My partner stays like on his toes basically, so I'm going to tip him backwards. He falls all the way backwards. See how I keep my elbow over the top of that shin as well to keep the leg bent just a bit longer. So now as I slide my elbow down to the toes, my partner's going to be starting to sit up, okay? I'm going to base on my elbow, bring my hips closer to the back of the heel, okay? Lift my hips off the floor and point my knees in the opposite direction. So let's turn a little bit. So I'm using a lot of strength here just to lift my hips off the floor and turn the knees at the same time. So it's like a very oblique and like ab heavy move. Okay, once I get here, I want to lift the heel okay, without breaking the leg. Control on your wrist. Again, lift. Okay, and I'm almost bringing my head over the top of the heel. Then I turn my grip around. And then from here I can finish 2 directions depending where my partner is. In general, you're looking to open your legs. So start to bridge, then open your legs to complete the bridge. And finish pulling the heel up to your nose. Okay, without the heel, you'd be finishing in a big circle here, just about trying to keep your shoulder off the floor. Okay, one more time. So here, my partner steps inside, I frame on the shoulders, swing my leg over the top, okay, and shoot through. Tuck my elbow in tight to my hip. My partner's still on his toes here, right? So as I scoot out, he goes back to his toes. It makes it easy for me to tip him backwards. Okay, from here, I'm sitting up. As my partner sits up, my elbow comes to the toes. As he tries to turn his knee away from my grip, I'm going to lift my hips and point my knees to the opposite direction and then punch my hand through, okay? Start to lift the heel before I take my left hand out, control the wrist, okay? And then from here, I'm either finishing going flat to my back, flaring my knees and bridging, okay, or finishing on the opposite side. Cool.
Cool, so in contrast to the last move, my partner this time is going to lean forward to stop himself being pushed backwards. Okay, so
same start as before. You step to the inside, I frame on the shoulders, keep bumping till I can get my leg over the top and step on the far thigh. I shoot my hand through as my leg comes out, okay, and then I collect. My second foot comes under, I start to scoot my leg out and triangle. Okay, so from here, right, my partner just leans forward, right? I can't really access the far leg like before, okay, and I can't push him backwards. So even if I did get the far leg here, right, I wouldn't be able to tip him backwards anymore because his head is too far forward. So I need to roll my partner forward. So what I'm gonna do, because I have my elbow under his shin, right, it's easy for me to collect the straight footlock grip, and that's all I need to stop my partner pressuring towards me. Right, why would my partner lean forward? If I don't have this knee controlled here, he can start to take an underhook on me and get some head position, and then he can start to force my head to turn in the opposite direction, and now he can start to sprawl his leg out, right? And eventually, keep flowing, eventually my legs are going to come loose, okay, and he's going to win that position. Okay, so start a bit further back. So you step to the inside, I swing my leg over, force really, okay, and I keep my elbow underneath his shin. So here, if my partner's trying to grab my head or trying to sprawl, this is like a pretty common reaction, right? They just want to kick their leg back. This is a very good way of preventing it. So once I can get my hand here in front of my stomach, it's going to be impossible for my partner to pressure towards me, right? It's like the half guard where you pull their leg to the outside. It's hard for him to pressure towards me here, right? So my hand, I can take the hand out here because it's going to be safer than keeping it to the inside. I can hold the top of the knee, start to frame if I need to. Okay, I have a lot more options with my hand than if it were to be trapped under here where it's not actually really serving any purpose and it gives more risk of a DARS. So I'm going to take my hand out, hold the top of the knee. Now my right toes here, I'm going to use them on the floor to start to turn myself belly down onto my forehead. Okay, once I land on my forehead, right, I'm aware that my partner's probably going to roll as fast as they can. So I'm going to try and put my legs, and you see how I get my toe under my partner's butt. So if I keep this position where my partner keeps rolling, yeah, I have my toe here so I can follow pretty easily, right? Because I won't have time to control the second leg if I'm wrapping the straight footlock grip. And I can basically hold onto my partner's hips a lot easier using my toe under his butt and eventually roll to control the heel. So let's do it more sideways. So land here. Okay, I managed to get my toe under my partner's butt and we're in this position, right, and I'm holding the top of the knee. So I want my hand to be as far around as possible. Okay, and you imagine there's always going to be some slippage, right? So you go further than you need and then pull the hand back. My second hand is over the top, and my toe here is hooking on his far thigh. So if he rolls to go belly down, okay, see how my foot here is hooking and it's helping me to go with him. So as he continues rolling, I have a very good grip onto his hip, okay, and I can keep looking to expose the heel using my knee pinch whilst my toe here holds onto his hip so I can roll with him, okay. He's not able to spiral like independently of me. As we're rolling, same thing, I'm using my knees here to pinch. I'm looking to try and expose the heel, okay. If you're struggling to get the heel exposure because your partner's pointing their toes very well, okay, I can always look for the heel instead of the knee and then aim my elbow better at the toes. Now I can start to look for my finishing grip, okay. And then depending which butt cheek my partner is on, either I'm finishing flat on my back or I'm finishing on my side. Okay, so one more time. Let me get something down here. So here, steps inside, I frame, bumping, triangle my legs, okay? So my partner's trying to get like some sort of control on my upper body to be able to sprawl effectively, okay? I'm gonna put my toe on the floor. If you have to uncross your legs, okay, try to do it briefly. So ideally you don't have to uncross your legs at all when you do this, okay? Because then it's gonna be harder for my partner to pull the leg free. Okay, if I keep my legs crossed, it's hard for him to just like pull that heel out. If my leg comes uncrossed for a second, I want to try and keep it hooked so it's hard for him to pull the leg out, okay? I'm going to turn onto my forehead with my hand in front of my chest, okay? As I land here, I cross my legs and hook my toe on his butt, okay? Let's have a little bit. This way. Cool, so I have my grip still over the top of his knee. My partner starts to roll, okay? Because my toes are hooked here, yeah, I'll just go for it, roll. Yeah, I can follow him very easily with just my legs and no hands, okay? And meanwhile, the hands can be used to start to expose the heel, okay? And again, look to catch the toes, ideally in the bicep, okay, rather than your armpit. So bicep and the heel right on the end of your wrist. I'm lifting and then I control my second wrist, turn my hand around, trying to keep my nose close to the heel. You can engage your hamstrings, flare your legs. So I'm pointing my knee at his hip bone and then I'm finishing just going flat and lifting like that. Okay. Last time. Over here. Steps to the inside of frame. Swing my leg over the top. Okay, my partner's trying to drive into me and basically sprawl, so I bring my hand in front of my chest. Okay, now it's impossible for him to get good control of my upper body. I hold the top of the knee, start to turn belly down, cross my legs, and then look for the heel here. Every time I get the heel right, it's a bit horrible, but you have to lift your head just in case they start to slip, right? Most of the time when you do heel hooks or when you're starting, people sort of, once you catch their heel, they kind of give up, right? But after a certain level, if you just catch the heel here, it's good enough to break if I bridge here, but it's also easy for him to slip, right? So if I'm just holding it here and he starts to slip his foot, he's gonna manage before I get a chance to bridge. So once you get the grip, lift it up to your nose, right? So it's much harder for him to start to slip the heel. And now as he goes to slip the heel, I'm starting to bridge, okay? And I'm probably gonna get the break before he manages to slip his leg. Cool.
Okay, so for this next one, my partner's gonna try and run away once I get to the full sweep position. So basically try and turn and run away rather than just leaning forward and stabilizing or trying to free their leg. They just try and flee. Okay, so
Same position as before. We're here, partner steps in, I frame on the shoulders, push, push, push. Swing my leg over the top, okay, and connect my grip. If I can't reach the leg properly, hook, then I can reach it, okay? Sometimes as well, you can hook behind your own leg if your partner's trying to fish this leg out and then transition it down, okay? My toe comes to the floor, scooting out, triangle. We land in this position. I start to look for my straight footlock grip and I switch to the top of the knee. Now my partner's gonna run away. So my right toe's here on the floor. So again, it's easier to do this move quickly, right? Because it's an invert where you're not necessarily framing on your partner, right? So it's not as safe as other inverts. So, you know, as long as you do it quickly and your partner's running away, they're not going to be able to drop their weight down through your knees onto your head. So my partner lifts his knee off the floor and starts to turn and run. I'm going to use my toes here to push and invert my head all the way through. Okay, it's important you use those toes there to get the invert. Once we land here, right, I want to tuck my foot to the inside. So as my partner's back stepping, I'm already looking to control the heel. Okay, and I can catch the heel as before. So one more time. Back a little bit. So partner steps in, I'm framing, swing my leg over the top, okay, and connect to my full sweep position. Okay, we get here, I'm gonna wrap my straight foot lock. My partner starts to stand and run. I need to use my toes here to spin my head through the gap, okay? and it's going to sit my partner down to his hip, right? It's very hard for him to, you know, if he doesn't try to hide his heel, he can stay up on his feet, but he needs to basically sit to his hip at some point, yeah, to try and hide his heel. And as he does, I'm going to be sitting up and looking to expose the heel and catch it. Okay, again, once I catch the heel, I'm using this to bend the leg as much as possible, okay, to prevent the slip. And as I let go of this, my hand comes straight to my second hand. I turn my grip around, I'm tight, lifting my hips off the floor and bringing my partner's toes back in a circle towards his butt. Okay. So again, partner steps inside, bringing on the shoulders. Look, start to scoot out and drive my knee through. Okay. I switch to my straight footlock grip and hold the top of the knee. My partner tries to run. I need to get used to tucking my head inside. Okay. So different to the one where I'm spinning over my head. As my partner runs, I need to get my foot between his legs and then bring my foot on the inside of his stomach. So we land in this position, okay? My foot on the stomach makes it harder for my partner to lift his hips off the floor. Okay, so I need to be looking to catch the heel straight away. Once I've caught the heel, okay, you can finish from this position with both knees on the floor, okay? You can bring your foot to the outside to prevent your partner from lifting their hips off the floor a bit better as well, okay? Or you can just switch to a standard saddle, okay? And then finish, once again, depending which side your partner's on. Okay, either finishing belly up or on the side, lifting my hips off the floor and flaring my knees. Okay. Okay, so for this next one, we're going to attempt to enter the full sweep position again, but my partner's going to straighten both legs so they stand really tall, just like that basically, and that makes it difficult to bend the knee to the inside. Okay, so we'll start again, framing on the shoulders, swing your leg over the top, shoot your hand through. Okay, so as I get to this position, right, I'm trying to connect my hands. My partner's recognizing the danger and they're standing up as tall as they can. So we get to here. So you see how my arm is outstretched, like fully straight in this leg. Yeah, so I'm struggling basically to get a bend in this leg. Even if I connect my hands here, I don't really have a good angle to start to bend his knee. But by pulling myself in, okay, I'm able to reach the second leg. So in general, if you're playing a half guard, right, let's say we're just doing a knee cut again. If you can reach the second leg and then you can start to attack the second leg, great, right? But for example, just attacking it here and doing like a modified X guard and then starting to attack the legs, that'd be great. But the problem with the knee cut is that it's sort of in the way, right? If I try and access this leg, his knee's already on the floor there, so he's going to start to pass. So I need to deal with it, you know, first by pushing the shoulders away, swinging my leg over the top, and now he starts to stand up and run away. Okay, so I can't access this leg, but because he stood up and made a lot of space between his legs, I pull my head between his legs. I hold just behind the knee, okay? Try and avoid holding like low on the ankle or anything like this. So hold high up on the knee so I can pull myself in to this sort of position. Okay, and I'm aiming to get my partner's hands to the floor in this direction. So see how I put one foot on the back of his knee, stomping on the back of his knee, the second foot is hooking the back of his knee, and I'm kicking in this direction. From here I have lots of options, right? I could just go to like a normal X guard if I wanted to, okay? Or you can transition straight to saddle. So if we turn a bit this way, yeah. So if I land here, I have his hands to the floor, right? I have a good opportunity to go to saddle. I can catch the toes, start to circle my leg all the way over the top, and then land in a saddle position. Again, you can triangle your legs here, or you can look to control the second leg when your partner back steps and hides their heel. Right? If they stay in this position, that would be ideal. You could just capture the heel, and as they back step, look to finish. If you miss the heel hook, okay, and they start to back step too early, okay, then I wouldn't try and continue going for the heel. I would go for the second leg, one hand on the knee, one hand on the ankle, pull it towards yourself, wrap the straight foot or grip, okay, and then tuck your elbow back between the two legs. So again, I push, I swing my leg over the top. As I'm reaching for this grip, my partner starts to stand. So I just about get here, exactly. So I can't really connect my grip, right? I didn't get my whole hand through. So I'm gonna reach for the second leg. Now I tuck my foot to the inside, pull myself in. Okay, I can start to off balance my opponent in this direction. Look to catch the big toe, okay? So go shoelaces side of the big toe. My second hamstring is along the line of his spine, right? So I wanna keep weight off of me as much as possible. So it's easier for me to turn my hips all the way to the opposite direction, okay? I'm using a leverage on the big toe here, same as before, to sort of crank my partner's knee to the floor, okay? And try and expose the heel, okay? Ideally, I can expose the heel right and catch it straight away, but a lot of the time people feel the danger and they start to backstep as you're doing this. So as I go for the heel, he's backstepping and hiding the heel. I look for the knee, okay? Second shin, extend my leg, capture the knee, and then step foot to foot, tuck your elbow between the two legs, okay? One more time. step to the inside, framing, swing your leg over the top. Partner starts to stand. You see, it's tough for me to get the full sweep here because there's too much weight on this leg. Right, so I'm going to switch to the second leg, scoot my hips underneath, bring my foot along the line of his spine, catch the big toe, and now I'm going to take my bottom foot out, lift my hips off the floor with my foot along his spine, then I'm going to turn all the way to the opposite side. Okay, so I have a really good bend in my partner's leg, and it's a really good angle to capture the heel, but if my partner back steps and extends his leg, okay, it's going to be very difficult for me to capture that heel. So I'm going to sit up and connect to the second leg before my partner manages to roll again. Pull the leg towards me. Okay, if my partner's still turning in that direction, okay, and I'm struggling to pull the leg towards me, let's say lift your hips off the floor as well, I can use my second knee, right, to collect that leg, step foot to foot, okay, and then finishing in saddle, dipping your elbow between the two legs. Okay.